Good afternoon, councillors and staff and members of our gallery. A special welcome to Belle Moxie and Evie Smith, who are both our Youth of the Month for May and one for September, respectively. Welcome to the teachers and family. So it's great to have you here, and a special occasion not only for you, but for us, our first council meeting as a new council. So welcome everybody. All right, before we get started, please be advised that this council meeting is being recorded and live streamed. By speaking at this meeting, you agree to being recorded and live streamed. Please ensure that if and when you speak, you are respectful to others and use appropriate language at all times. Cavon Council accepts no liability for any defamatory or offensive remarks or gestures made during the course of this meeting. The recording of this meeting will be made publicly available on Council's website. Our first item is applications for leave of absence. Can I have a mover and a seconder, please? Moved by Councillor Rawson, seconded by Councillor Nash. We have a full house, so no leave of absence. I'll put that. All those in favour? Against? That's carried. Item 2 is declarations of interest. Mover and a seconder, please. Moved by Councillor Weaver, seconded by Councillor Jones. Does anybody have anything to declare? Councillor Batten.
Yeah, I'm declaring items 26 and 27, and I will be leaving the chamber, Mr Mayor, as it involves Molan Advancement Group.
27 and 26 and 27, yep.
Yes.
And Councillor Pearson is declaring but not leaving. You are a member of MAG, correct? Yep. Thank you. Nothing. Oh, Councillor.
Sorry, Mr Mayor. In the noting item 10 and 13, development application received and that's been approved on land adjacent land I own.
Yeah, noted that you're not leaving the room. Thank you. Anything else, anybody? No? All right, I'll put that. All those in favour? Against? That's carried. Item 3 is declaration for political donations. Move in a seconder, please. Yes, Councillor O'Ryan, yes. See, yeah, look, different seating positions. It's thrown me. Seconded by Councillor Poole. I've got nothing to declare. Anybody got anything to declare? Thank you, everybody. I'll put that. All those in favour? Against? Carried. All right. Now, a very special day. So we'll go in a moment. So, Belle Moxie is Youth of the Month for May. So Belle is a 12 years of age and attends St Joseph's Catholic School at Yagara. Belle was nominated for this award by the school principal. Belle was voted as school captain this year by the school staff and students. Belle thanks visitors at school functions and led the school in the Yagara Anzac March. Belle reads at school masses and serves on the altar church. Belle is an excellent student in all areas of school and excels in Belle represented the St Joseph School in the Orange and District Public Speaking Belle represented the school for Bathurst Diocese Hockey and Joseph playing in Hamlet from the Paulding primary team. Belle has also represented Clark's hockey team in Wagga, the under 14 state field hockey. On behalf of the Cavon Council, I would like to congratulate Belle on her achievement and present her with the Youth of the Month for May. years old and attends St Joseph's Catholic Primary School at Manilva and was nominated by the school principal. Voted as school captain in 2024, Evie welcomes and communicates with visiting adults to the school. Evie received a high distinction in years practice arts and religion education. Yes, a highly commended in years practice arts Christmas art competition. Evie represented Southern Region Swimming of the 55 relay team and the Holding Athletics Newcastle in 2004. Evie's community achievements include being part of the Manilva Gems netball team and helping with umpiring younger members. Here, Evie is a member of the Manilva Swimming Club and represents the school at the end of that day march. Evie has generated ideas for initiatives for community group, for people less fortunate, and also volunteer for local Catholic parish. Officer of Upper Council. I want to congratulate Evie on her Member of the Youth of the Month Award in September. Really take after your mum. Oh, yeah. Well done. All right, back to the meeting. Item 4 is the mayoral minute appointment. Before I do table my report, I'd just like to mention that I think Cabonne and in particular Molong over the last 3 or 4 weeks have had a pretty tough time with a lot of tragedy, with some deaths of some young people and also older people, and in particular I'd just like to mention the passing of employee Brian Hutchison. Pass on our condolences to family, in particular Brian. He's been employed for about 42 years, I think, on Cabonne Council, and a great fella. So I just wanted to mention that and our sympathy towards the family. And then saying that, I'll now move my mayoral report. Does anybody else have anything for the mayoral minute? Councillor Rawson's tabled the report.
Thank you. Yes, sorry, I'm just looking at it there. I missed something, and that was the Central Tablelands Water Board meeting last week in Grenfell, where I was voted in as the new chair.
Yeah, congratulations on that as well.
Yeah.
Councillor Batten.
I can just make a comment. Thanks, Mr Mayor. I attended the opening of the new Washpan Fire Brigade shed with your good self, and where medals were presented, one of which was a 50-year medal, and 2 new trucks, one for Baldry and one for Washpan. So I don't know whether people realise where Washpan is. It's on Gundons Road, just northwest of the Oval, strategically located in close proximity to the Goobang National Park. So it is an important one. And the people there spoke at length about what they used to have in terms of equipment and how it differs to what they have today. And I can say that it's actually state of the art, the equipment that they've received. And the Mayor just dodged, I think, getting soaked by the gun on the front of the truck on the day. So I think it's worth noting that Cabonne actually now, we received a number of new trucks, which is actually going to put us in a good position when we do have to fight one of those inevitable fires.
Thank you. Councillor Jones?
Yeah, Mr Mayor, if I could table a report and also just add to what Councillor Batten said. On Saturday, I attended the Canobolas Rural Fire Zone Long Service Awards on your behalf, and we had a number of volunteer firefighters from across the region. Molong, Cheeseman's Creek, Manildra, Mullion Creek, etc. received long service awards for their outstanding work in our communities and the wider New South Wales community. So just acknowledge them, and the handing over of several new trucks, including some new trucks for Cabon, which is fantastic, or our fire brigade in Cabon. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Nash?
I was just going to write something out, but anyway, I've just attended a Mardia meeting in the Central Tablelands Water. That's about that. Yeah, thank you.
Mr Mayor, with your indulgence, the Deputy Mayor, one of the things that he didn't say, that he was actually a recipient of one of those medals at the presentation on Saturday. So congratulations, Deputy Mayor Jones.
Anyone else? No? All right, I'll put that. All those in favour? Against? That's carried. Item 5 is Committee of the Whole section. Can I have a mover and a second, please? Yep, Councillor Rawson, second by Councillor Paul. Does anybody wish to call anything into Committee of the Whole? Councillor Rawson.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. I think 9, we probably will need some discussion on.
Yep.
9.
Item 9.
Potentially 18, which is all the committees with this. Yeah, I suspect we're going to need a bit more discussion than that. And I've got one, a personal one, but I've got one 15, and I just foreshadow a potential amendment for that one.
Okey-dokey.
The item 19 as well, Mr Mayor, the delegates to other organisations who may need a little bit of time.
Yep. Anything else? No. All right, I'll put that. All those in favour? Against? That's carried. Item 6 is the confirmation of the minutes of the August council meeting and extraordinary council meeting on the 8th of October. Moved by Councillor Weaver, second by Councillor Nash. Any discussion on the minutes? No? All right, I'll put that. All those in favour? Against? That's carried. Item 7 is confirmation of the Cabon Local Traffic Committee meeting minutes, which the acting GM said was quite a long meeting. Mover and a seconder, please. Moved by Councillor Batten, second by Councillor Pearson. Any discussion on the minutes?
Just a question, Mr Mayor. Sorry, I should have asked before the meeting, but just regarding the fireworks event at Lake Canobla, would that also without jumping question to the General Manager, without jumping the gun, but is this sort of requiring a DA, and what's the process for this to potentially go ahead, and also the traffic? Sorry.
Through you, Mr Mayor, there are planning provisions that would have to be satisfied, etc. But I believe it's just become made aware through the media that that event will be going ahead at a different location, so it's a bit redundant.
Happy? Yep. Anything further on the minutes at all? All right, I'll put that. All those in favour? Against? That's carried. Item 8 is confirmation of the Cabon Floodplain Management Advisory Committee meeting and minutes. Moved by Councillor Jones, second by Councillor Weaver. Any discussion on that?
Geez, good information.
Yep. Is that it? Nothing? All good? All right, I'll put that. All those in favour? Against? That's carried. Item 9 is in Committee of the Whole. Item 10 is the Local Government New South Wales Conference 2024. Could I have a mover and a seconder, please? Moved by Councillor Jones, second by Councillor Nash. All right. Need to nominate 2 people to go. Councillor Nash.
I'm already, through the chair, I'm already going through it with Central Tablelands Water. Thank you.
Councillor Batten.
Mayor, we've got one new councillor, perhaps Aaron Pearson. Aaron should be invited to go as an observer.
You happy to go, Aaron?
Yes, I am.
All right. Councillor Pearson and one other. Does anybody else wish to go?
I'm happy to give it a miss and put my hand up for the Switch conference later in the agenda if anyone else wants to go to the local government.
I'll nominate to end with you, Mr Mayor, if you wish. Second voting delegate.
All right, everybody happy? Anybody else wish to go? No, we've got Councillor Batten and Councillor Pearson. Everybody happy with that? All right, I'll put that. All those in favour? Against, that's carried. Thank you, everybody. Item 11 is a Union Picnic Day for 2024. Mover and a seconder, please. Moved by Councillor Weaver, second by Councillor Rawson. I don't think it needs any discussion, just formalising. Everybody happy with that? Yeah. No, it's just the way it is. Yeah, might be in favour, I don't know.
Is there a chance that the date will get changed for that reason? No, it is what it is. Yep, okay.
All right, I'll put that. All those in favour? Against, that's carried. Item 12 is the General Manager's Performance Review Panel. Could I have a mover and a seconder? Moved by Councillor Jones, second by Councillor Paul. All right. To make it easier, have you nominated? Right. Councillor Batten, yeah. All right. You happy to be on the panel, Councillor Batten?
Yeah, that's very good, gentlemen.
Yeah, all right. Anybody else wish to be considered nominated? Well, we need one from the General Council, so there's myself on and the Deputy Mayor, and we need one other. Then the General Manager will nominate somebody.
Can I nominate Councillor Aaron?
Yep, all right. Does anybody else wish to nominate? All right. Now, the only thing is, I guess, if the General Manager, we've got 2 nominated for 1 position, so we'll have to vote on it, or the General Manager can foreshadow picking one of you.
I'm happy to step back and let Councillor O'Ryan do it. I mean, make it easy. No problem.
Previously, I was going to be picking, when you said that agenda, I went to Councillor Ryan, so therefore you can put both on and get, you have, I think I nominated you as my very first selection and you declined, way back then, but so I'm happy to nominate you as having a turn on the panel. That makes things simpler, Mr. Mayor.
So, to make it simple, yes, we'll have Councillor Batten chosen by the Council, and General Manager's choosing Councillor O'Ryan as his representative. So to speak.
It's not yet.
Everybody happy with that? Yeah. All right. Well, I'll put that. All those in favour? Against, that's carried. Item 13. Not in committee, is it? It's standing committees. Could I have a mover and a second, please? Moved by councillor Weaver, seconded by, was that you, councillor Nash? Yep. Seconded by councillor Nash. All right. Now we've got to determine standing committee's core members for the term of the council and adopt the structure and the terms of reference.
Just a very minor amendment in terms of the name of in terms of the name of the infrastructure other committee. Suggest that we rename that infrastructure, omit other and replace it with community, close bracket.
And then minor change. Who was the mover and seconder again? Councillor? Yeah. Are you happy with that? Yeah. Thank you. So that's carried there. All right. Core members.
Sorry, through you, Mr. Mayor. Yeah, I'm happy to stay in the ones I was in before, which is environment, innovation, energy and infrastructure transport, so panel B. I'm happy to be there, as before.
Yeah, all right. We'll just do that. I was going to say that who wants to go which side, but anyway. All right, who wants to go on A? Are we writing this down? Group A is...
Would you like to explain the process of how they meet for councillor Pearson, Mr. Mayor?
Yep. So, and these standing committees are workshop days, so the second Tuesday of the month. So we come in at 12 o'clock and the council divides into the two different committees and discusses issues in those relevant committees, which is then brought to the full council at either the next meeting or next month's meeting or soon thereafter. Right, so you sit on one of those committees and you're quite happy to rotate out if you have an interest in a particular item in another committee, but you start in one and then can rotate later on. I think we rotated last year, didn't we, at the halfway through? I think, did we or not? No? We stayed together? Yeah, right.
There was an option. We always elect to do that if that become a consensus halfway through the term, but at the moment it seemed to be a pick and stick situation.
Excuse me, yeah, just as long as the business papers for both go to everybody, which is what already happens, so that we get access to the business papers for the other committee, and yeah, so we can see what's happening.
And if you have a particular interest in it,
Yeah,
you can
just
swap in.
swap out and say something. And then we have the opportunity later on to, in the council chamber, to hit it again. Yeah.
So, Aaron, you can choose which one you would like to go into, but and I think if there's no problem if you find that you would rather go in the other one later on, you can swap over. You know, so you're trying to feel your way a bit and learn. So, no issue if you choose one now and you say, "Oh, I shouldn't have done that one. I want to go on the other one." We can swap things around. All right. All right. So you're going to go Group A, which you automatically become on transport then anyway. Well, so infrastructure. Infrastructure. So you're A and C.
Sorry.
Okay.
Not more business papers.
A and C. So show of hands again just for A. And show for B. Right, so it's nearly the same except we're going to fully in. Right, very good. We're done. So we adopted this structure. Now we're adopting the terms of reference. Any questions on that at all? No? All right, I'll put that. All those in favour? Against, that's carried. Thank you, everybody. That was relatively good. Item 14 is Australia Day Awards Committee. Can I have a mover and a seconder, please? Moved by Councillor Batten, seconded by Councillor Pearson. Any discussions on that at all? Too straightforward, I think. All right, I'll put that. All those in favour? Against, that's carried. So item 15 is in Committee of the Whole. Item 16. Advisory Committees of Council, Audit, Risk and Improvement Committee. Mover and a seconder, please. Moved by Councillor Jones, seconded by Councillor Nash. All right. Adopting the terms of reference, naturally, but appoint one councillor to represent and one alternate. Believe me, it's great.
We're trying not to take this personal, councillors.
I'll be the alternate.
All right. Does anybody else wish to fight for a position? Anybody else wish to fight for a position on this committee?
Just through you, Mr Mayor, also just as much as the marketing doesn't appear to be good at the moment, councillors are always welcome to attend the ARIC meeting as observers as well. So just letting everyone know they can all have a try at least going to a meeting and making a decision for themselves what the meeting's like.
Councillor Jones and alternate Councillor Nash. All right. Everybody happy with that? All right, I'll put that. All those in favour? Against? That's carried. Item 17 is delegates to Joint Regional Planning Panel, other organisations for 24-25. Move and a seconder, please. Moved by Councillor Batten, seconded by Councillor Pearson. All right, so we're endorsing the Andrew Muir, and we've got to determine if a second representative is required. Councillor Batten.
I indicated a willingness to continue with the heavy workload of this one, Mr Mayor.
Thank you. Do we have an alternate?
I'd like to nominate Councillor Nash.
Councillor Nash?
Are you happy with that?
All right, anybody else? Everyone happy with that? All right, Councillor Batten and Councillor Nash as alternate. All right, for the balance 24-25. So thank you both. I'll put that. All those in favour? Against, that's carried. Item 18 is in Committee of the Whole, and so is 19. Item 20 is appointment of Section 355 committees. Mover and seconder, please. Moved by Councillor Poole. Seconded Councillor Pearson. Any discussion on that at all?
Just a question through you, Mr Mayor, to the General Manager. Obviously, just want to acknowledge our 355 committees who do a fantastic job, but in renewing their contracts or whatever you would like to call it, do they receive a new copy or a reminder of the terms of reference? And are they required to, as members of 355, sign a bit of an agreement? Just in terms of
responsibilities.
Through Mr Mayor, I'll take this as I've been acting general manager for the last few weeks. There has been discussions around reminding responsibilities of those 355 committees, including sending out letters following this meeting, confirming their continued status and also their expectations that are put on them.
Councillor Nash?
Through the chair, I just a question to you, Matt. Are they, like charges, are they uniform charges or are they allowed to set their own? Or, you know, I've just noticed that there is a bit of a problem sometimes with one particular person charging a lot of money for instance, for a hall or whatever. So is it, you know, is it?
Through the fees and charges are still supposed to be adopted by council, so they should submit to council what they deem the relevant fees and charges for council assets use. If there's other things ancillary that they're doing, but anything to do with our council asset, correctly, that should be coming to us for endorsement, and it should be put in our fees and charges. I'm not sure whether that's continued to happen, but we can follow that up.
Any further discussion on that? No? All right, I'll put that. All those in favour? Against, that's carried. Item 21 is the Government Information Public Access Act 2009, the GIPA, Agency's Information Guide Annual Review. Move, please. Moved by Councillor Batten. Seconded by Councillor Paul. Any discussion on this at all? No? Put that. All those in favour? Against, that's carried. Item 22 is the quarterly budget review. Thanks, Councillor Weaver. Second by Councillor Rawson. Any discussion on the quarterly budget review?
I have a question, Mr Mayor. In the report, it actually says that achievement of the surplus or the results of the quarterly budget review will be subject to those carryover projects being completed. Refers to the risk of any being completed. Are there any carryover projects in the previous financial year that are at risk of being not completed? That we're aware of?
Through Mr Mayor, all projects are scheduled. There is won't sugarcoat it, it's a massive program, and whilst we have the best intent, it's my intention closer to the mid-year mark of making an assessment on those that we may not be able to deliver by the end of the financial year. That'll come as a report to council in February.
Mr Mayor, I just acknowledge also the work that the Deputy General Manager is doing in the project management space to ensure that we wind back and more accurately predict the completion and or staging of projects in the budgetary process, but it's been a very tumultuous period in order to do that. So we hope to get in more accurate predictions. That you might recall, like the Peak Hill Road project that's been sitting there for some time, subject to federal government decisions, etc. So it's fairly difficult, but as Matt said, we're improving that as we go.
Any further questions? Discussion? No? All right, I'll put that. All those in favour? Against? That's carried. Item 23 is the New South Wales Public Libraries Association Annual Conference. Which conference? Moved by Councillor Jones, seconded by Councillor Rawson. All right. Nominations for the conference. Councillor Paul indicated earlier.
It's actually, there's an error in the information there. It's actually not at Port Macquarie, it's at Coffs Harbour. But yes, I'd like to nominate.
Further travel. Councillor Paul's indicating he wants to go. Is there anybody else? I think we've nominated two. We've nominated two.
Yeah.
We've got two people can go. Councillor O'Ryan?
I'll nominate, but there might be a little question mark, that's all. Do you want to?
Do you have a backup then? Does anybody want to go if Councillor Ryan should have to pull out? No? All right. No further nominations. We'll put that. All those in favour? Against, that's carried. We'll just deal with that if it happens. Item 24 is the Community Assistance Program Round 1. Move on a seconder, please. Moved by Councillor Weaver, seconded by Councillor Poole. All right, we'll just work our way down through, I think, and see if anybody wishes to comment or ask a question. So item 1, Kidale Central. Everybody happy with that? Yep. The CWA at Cumnock, happy with that? Yep. Cumnock Golf Club, shed improvements, 2,916.59. Everybody happy with that? Yep. Yarra Community Children's Centre for an outdoor garden space, 2,398.40. Everybody happy? 500 Yarra Promotion and Progress Association, EPA, for boot camp group. Equipment for the boot camp group. Everybody happy with that? Yep. Number 6 is the Yarra Pool for sports seating and pool platform replacement, 4,200. Thereabouts. Happy? 5,000 at the Canowindra Lions Club to review the Driver Reviver barbecue. Revive, not review it. Revive. Everybody happy with that one? 5,000 to Molong Swimming Club for commercial solar pool covers. Yep. 5,000 to Main Creek and District Progress Association for a community barbecue facility, which is great. Much needed there. 3,837.65 to the Oval Historical Association, Buckenbar Park Table Shelter Construction and Handrail. Everybody all right with that one? 3,500 to the Molong Hockey Club for hockey training equipment. And number 12 is 5,000 to Canowindra Bowling Club for a new fence. Everybody happy? All right. No further. I'll put that. All those in favour? Against, that's carried. Item 25 is the Events Assistance Program. Could I have a mover and a seconder? Moved by Councillor Rawson, seconded by Councillor O'Ryan. Everybody happy with that? Happy?
I was, sorry, Mr. Mayor, sorry. I was just going to say that maybe, probably doesn't need an amendment that just supporting any of our female councillors who wish to attend. Probably a completely separate report, but.
Yeah, we won't probably. What's the next meeting date? Be after that.
That's a Sunday.
I'll move that as an amendment then, Mr. Mayor.
Yeah, point 2 to say happy. Point 2 of that to just to
council endorses the attendance of any
Yeah.
councillor who may wish to attend.
Yep. Yep. All right, who was the original mover and seconder?
Councillor Rawson and Councillor O'Ryan moved and second.
So I might just deal with that as a minor amendment, just adding a point 2 to it. Are you happy with that? Yep, and so that'll be Councillor Nash and Councillor O'Ryan. Who was the seconder again? Yep. All right, everybody happy with that? All right, I'll put that. All those in favour? Against, that's carried. Item 26, Village Enhancement Fund. 24-25, moved by Councillor Weaver, seconded by Councillor Poole. Thank you. Councillor Batten has declared an interest and is leaving the room. There's no.
Yeah, so that is no
Not in the recommendation. What's wrong with that? Just jumped it, missed it out. Who's the mover and seconder on that? Right, just have a look there, just see that in the annexure, there was a little bit of confusion. The recommendation is not the same as the annexure, so it doesn't mention MAG in the recommendation. So we'll just amend that to adopt the recommendation as per the annexure. You happy with that?
Through Mr Mayor. So there's 4 projects in the recommendation, 2 of which are Canowindra projects, and none of them are Molong projects.
There's, through you, Mr Mayor, there are 5 projects that should have been included. I'm sorry that that's missing from the motion. So there are 2 projects for Canowindra.
Yep.
There is a project for Molong. The project for Molong is similar to the project that was put forward in the community assistance program for the new pool blankets for the Molong swimming pool. I think it's included in the body of the report.
I missed this.
So the amendment will be, if you go to page 54 of the report, it's the 5 projects listed there, so that'll come back up into the recommendation. Everybody's up. That? Yep. So any discussion on that at all? Everybody happy with that? Total funding request for that round is 58,810. 92 cents. Okay, all up to speed, happy with that? Yep. Right, I'll put that. All those in favour? Against, that's carried.
Through you, Mr Mayor, just briefly on the Village Enhancement Fund, you just might note that we did write to all the progress associations requesting them to consider the use of their fund, given it is the end of the delivery program coming up. So that may be why we've had a bit of a surge, but equally there's still a few community groups. So if you're speaking to people from the progress associations of those groups, you know, they should consider what projects before seeking other funding. They have got funding there available to them.
Well, Councillor Batten declared an interest in 27 as well, so we'll just deal with that while he's out. So item 27 is exemption to the alcohol-free zone in Canowindra, an alcohol prohibition area, an alcohol-free zone in Molong for the Christmas in Village events. Could I just have a mover, please? Moved by Councillor Rawson, second by Councillor Paul. Any discussion on that at all? Straightforward. All right, I'll put that. All those in favour? Against, that's carried. Councillor Batten, item number 26 was approved as per the recommendation. However, we had to change the recommendation around because it's not right. So the recommendation is per the by the table on page 54. So everything went through as per the table on 54. There was just an error in the recommendation, and item 27 has also been approved by as per the recommendation. Item 28 is the Molong Flood Risk and Management Study and Plan, September 24. Mover and seconder. Moved by Councillor Jones, second by Councillor Nash. Any discussion at all?
Through you, Mr Mayor, if I could just ask a question regarding what plans we have in terms of community engagement for this during the next 28 days.
Through you, Mr Mayor, I can confirm that there will be the standard practice of advertising the document out for community comment. There will also be, as part of that advertisement, a call for people to attend drop-in / community meeting that will be facilitated by the author of the plan. We're still just waiting to confirm that date, but it will be in November.
Any further comment on that? Discussion?
Right. Sorry, Mr Mayor, could I just speak briefly for this motion? Obviously, this has been a piece of work that has been happening for the last couple of years, and I think worth acknowledging Scott, our consultant, who's been working with our Deputy General Manager of Infrastructure on this, and the committee, our Cabon Advisory Committee, Floodplain Advisory Committee, for their help and assistance with this. As I said, this is something that started before the 2022 floods, but has been worked on tirelessly since to come up with these options. It might be worth noting for the community, obviously it's an ambitious plan, $52 million plan. It's not something that we as council will be able to achieve by ourselves. There are some things there that are a bit more low-hanging fruit that we can achieve by ourselves, but it's certainly, now that we have this plan, we have been lobbying, and through yourself, we have been lobbying, but now that we have this plan, it will provide us with much more opportunity to open those doors to be able to get some funding to reduce the flood risk to Molong.
Thank you. Yeah, well said. And the key point is that, as you mentioned, the plan's required to try and achieve those opportunities for funding. And without this plan, we don't have any of those opportunities at all, because the first thing our government asks for is studies and plans. So we've got that. We've got the ball rolling. Any further discussion? Councillor Wilson.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. Yes, I'd like to commend the report too, and it's been done in an excellent way, and it's obviously we've had workshops on this, and we've had the committee as well having a look at it. It is a range of mitigation measures which are centred and focused on Molong, as in the town, rather than the rest of the catchment, and I've certainly imparted to the consultants that perhaps, you know, when we have further iterations of this sort of a plan, that we consider catchment management planning as well as part of the process. So this gives a suite of excellent possibilities, possible things that we can do in Molong, but it's by no means the only things that can be done. And obviously anything beyond what's here is going to cost even more money and a lot more consideration of what they mean. So I certainly commend the report. It's excellent. Yeah.
Any further discussion at all? All right, I'll put that. All those in favour?
No.
Against, that's carried. Item 29 is the Yarra Medical Centre Committee request to cancel an invoice. Mover and a seconder. Moved by Councillor Jones, second by Councillor Weaver. Any discussion on that at all? No? Discussion? All right, I'll put that. All those in favour? Against, that's carried. Item 30 is the proposed road naming, unnamed existing private road in Molong. Have a mover and a seconder, please. Moved by Councillor Bull, seconded by Councillor Nash. Proposed to rename the road Bob's Creek Road. Any discussion on Bob's Creek Road?
There's some good homework done by staff there, and I look forward to seeing the feedback we receive.
Thank you. Councillor Rawson.
Through you, Mr. Mayor, I'd just like to ask a couple of questions. Is this a gazetted road, or is it's like a Crown Road, or is it just a right-of-way across private property? That's the first question. Second question is it on our register, or would it become part of our register and therefore our responsibility to maintain the road? Or is it just a naming of something just for the convenience of a couple of neighbours who might be fighting?
For you, Mr. Mayor, first two I can relatively answer straightforward. I'll let the debate for number 3 go. So dot point 1, it's a paper road, and so council doesn't currently maintain it. That's the responsibility of the landholders who gain access. So in all intents and purposes, it's a driveway. Number 2, council will not be taking this road over, and that's not part of the request from the applicants. It's purely the Geographical Names Board requires endorsement by council to recognise the road naming. So the application for road naming isn't going through council, it is going through the property owners. Council is just required to provide endorsement on the proposed name. And I'll let the report's there for consideration. 3.
Just a supplementary, is there any other advantage to council or having a road, any road named? You know, is it? I mean, obviously, it might be useful if it becomes a postal address, and for emergencies, that sort of thing. But is there any other advantage to council of having that road named, or any road named?
To council, from an emergency, not directly, from an emergency management point of view and from a postal point of view, yes, there is advantages to the road being named. It does, once it is gazetted, it goes on registers that are used by those organisations. So if somebody living on the road does call for medical assistance and refers to Bob's Creek Road, they will be, the emergency services will be directed to Bob's Creek Road, to this road. And that's the advantage of going through the Geographical Names Board process and not just simply putting a sign up on the end of the road.
Thank you. Thank you.
Anything further at all? All right, if not, I'll put that. All those in favour? Against, that's carried. Item 31 is the 2004 National Local Roads Transport and Infrastructure Congress. Mover and a seconder, please. Moved by Councillor Paul, second by Councillor Weaver. Just in relation to that, I may not be able to attend that, and I've spoken to the deputy mayor, and he would be available if I can't go. So that might be the slight amendment to that. Any further discussion on that? All right, I'll put that. All those in favour? Against? That's carried. Go now, direct everybody to the supplementary. All right, everybody with me? Supplementaries. So item 32 is the development application 2025/0021 telecommunication facility 26B Bevan Road, Mayan Creek. Mover, a seconder, please. Moved by Councillor Rawson, second by Councillor Batten. Any discussion on that at all? Councillor Rawson.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. Look, this is, I thank the staff for all of their hard work on getting this over the line. This has been something that's been in the Mullion Creek strategic plan for that area for quite some time, to improve the telecommunications service in that area. It's been a particular concern of the Progress Association, which I attend, and over many, many years, in fact. And we were very, very lucky to gain access to some grant funding, and fortunately we were given priority over many other potential locations for this infrastructure, and I certainly approve this. It's been backwards and forwards in terms of its location, and it's not a perfect location for it, but this is a good compromise for the community, and I think the community in that area recognises that compromise. So as you can see from the report, that there's a lot of supporting letters for that to happen. It's not going to be perfect. It won't give everybody in the whole of that region better service, but certainly the majority of people within Cooey of that tower will get much better service. And I've been out there every month for Mullion Creek meetings, and the service is pretty terrible. So this will be a really good, really, well, not always non-existent, but yeah, sometimes. So this will improve conditions considerably.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Thank you.
Councillor Jones.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. Just similar to Councillor Rawson, and I want to just acknowledge him and the work he's been doing out there at Mullion Creek, but I attended the Telstra community consultation meeting that was held about 8 weeks ago or so with our Leader of Community and Economy, and obviously here today we're looking at this tower on the planning principles, and I support the recommendation, but I think it's worth acknowledging that there was some, or there is some concerns out there, but as Councillor Rawson has said, you know, we've looked, all the sites have been looked at. Council were proactive in working with Telstra to get the funding for this. It was outlined it's been outlined at Better Telecommunications in our community strategic plan, and we've worked with Telstra to get this funding. It's important that we approve this today because the funding is only available until the end of this year. We must have the tower, or Telstra must have the tower up and built. I know some of the concerns that were raised were around emitting electromagnetic fields and radiation. The removal of the trees is covered in the report, and the other thing was the location in terms of the community had worked or had asked for Telstra to move it to the Crown land. It purely comes back to Telstra and economics for that. We don't have a choice over that. But whilst this will certainly improve telecommunications, and it's great to see this come to council, and the council, Councillor Rawson, yourself, and our leader of community economy have done a lot of work to get this funding, and hopefully we can get it built, and the community out there can have better telecommunications from 2025 onwards.
Thank you, well said, yeah. Councillor Nash?
I just wanted to congratulate the staff and the councillors that have been involved, because this is, in this day and age, we've got to have telecommunications. It's great.
General Manager wants to place a comment?
Yeah, through you, Mr Mayor, and you're probably too humble to take too much credit for this, but clearly this is a long tale, and this started many years ago with the Mayor advocating with both the federal government and also with Telstra and those sorts of things. In much as we talked about earlier in the induction about the regional advocacy, obviously there's been good work by staff and also local and councillors working with the community at the end, but to even get this to where it is started with many conversations, many blank looks, and many, there's no funding for this before we've got there. So I just, through Mr Mayor, I want to acknowledge your work in bringing home, well, both recognising this need and strongly advocating wherever you could do so for the needs of the Martin Creek community state.
Yeah, thank you, Jim. I remember distinctively a conversation at Blaney actually with some telcos. They weren't very happy with me, but anyway, we got there. All right, thank you, everybody. I'll put that, all those in favour? Against, that's carried. Oh, it's a division, show of hands, sorry. Thank you. Unanimous, thank you. Item 33 is questions for next meeting. Can I have a mover and a seconder, please? Moved by Councillor Weaver, seconded by Councillor Poole. Does anybody have any questions for next meeting at this stage? No? All right, I'll put that. All those in favour? Against, that's carried. Item 34 is business paper items for noting. Mover and a seconder, please. Moved by Councillor Poole, seconded by Councillor Nash. Just mentioned that Councillor Jones declared interest, but it's not leaving the meeting. Does anybody want to call out anything in the business paper items for noting? No? All right, I'll put that. All those in favour? Against, that's carried. Item 35 is matters of urgency. Mover and a seconder, please. Moved by Councillor, who said that? Councillor Weaver. Thank you. Seconded by Councillor Batten. Does anybody have any matters of urgency? No? I'll put that. All those in favour? Against, carried. Now I'm making up item 36 on the run. Item 36 is closed committee of the whole meeting. Not closed, sorry, committee of the whole. Yeah. Moved by Councillor Jones. Seconded by Councillor Nash. So you're moving and seconding that we move into committee of the whole to discuss those items we put in the committee of the whole. It was just forgotten.
I think it exists.
All right, so we're in committee of the whole, and item 9. So back to the original papers. Go back to item 9. This is Councillor Conduct Framework. Can I have a mover and a seconder? Moved by Councillor Rawson, seconded by Councillor Batten. Councillor Rawson, discussion.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. I certainly endorse the opportunity to respond to the Office of Local Government on this report. I think we don't necessarily have to do just one from the JO, but I'm happy to go down that route if that's what everyone wants, but that we could even have one coming from Cabon separately if we wish to go a slightly separate direction.
So, I need somebody to, because you're the mover and the second, if you want to go down that road, we have to get an amendment made. You can't move that amendment as the mover, original mover.
it's a little dependent on the discussion in a way, because if we, I suspect that
So
if,
if you
I
want-
suspect that if we after discussion we decide that there's sufficient difference between what we would want to put up and what the JO puts up, then we make that amendment.
Right,
Just a suggestion. Thanks.
continue.
Thank you. Look, I certainly agree with the suggestions been brought forward by other councillors, in particular Councillor Nash, that the workshops and briefings are an incredibly important component of what we do. Just the other day in the car, Councillor Nash mentioned to me that prior to these workshops and briefings happening the way that we do now, the chamber was actually a little bit more adversarial and a bit more threatening, and that's the case effectively. Yeah, the information wasn't there, and that the situation. I mean, I've only been here in council during a period of time when we've had these sessions. I've valued them. I think other councils have valued them, and I couldn't imagine doing it any other way. The whole point of the OLG report is to try and make councils work better, work more effectively, work more collegially, and taking away these workshops or banning these sort of these briefings will remove that for us. I think that it would remove that collegiality that we currently enjoy. So that it's certainly a much better chamber. It works more effectively, it works more cohesively if we have a good briefing and a good workshop prior to any of our meetings. We can't make decisions in an information vacuum, and they provide that information. So that's one thing I strongly object to in this the report from the OLG. The other thing is, I think we all should stand when the mayor comes in.
Councillor Nash.
Yes, through the chair, I'd like to move an amendment that Cabonne Council does actually send in our own, what would you call it, submission, and speak up for us, because I think the more that we have going in, the better. Now I'd like to move that amendment.
Need a seconder for that. Need a seconder. Councillor Paul, seconded. You want to speak to that, Councillor Paul? No? All right. Does anybody want to speak against the amendment? No? So the amendment will be that Council endorse the Central New South Wales JO submission to the Office of Local Government on the Council of Conduct, and two, that Cabonne Council provides a submission as well. Yes. Yeah.
In supporting that amendment, I just note that that CTW is going to be putting in a submission separate to the JO.
Through Mr Mayor, just as long as we're satisfied that the essence of the JO submission is the essence of our thinking, and there's nothing different that we can always
Just a reinforcement.
bring. I don't know. We won't have time to bring this back to a council for review. We could circulate it by email just to check that you're happy with the submission. But if we can craft it in a similar nature, it just gives us clarity, staff clarity, what to prepare. That's all.
That's effectively what we're doing in CTW. We've just asked for submissions we had a discussion about it at the last board meeting. We got the gist of what councillors were after. We've asked for emailed responses from councillors. General Manager and I are going to meet next week to draft up a submission which will then go out as a draft to all councillors for endorsement, and then away we go. So if we could do something similar, it would be great.
contact them. All right, any further discussion on that amendment? No? So I'm going to put the amendment. All those in favour? Against, carried, so the amendment now becomes the motion. Any further discussion before I put the motion? I see somebody's in the trigger.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Oh, look, there are many other things that we could be discussing. We could certainly do it via email amongst ourselves, but there are a couple of reasons why the OLG have been trying to make these changes, and it's worthwhile considering those before we do put in our submissions. The aim, you can sort of see where the minister is going with this. He wants to have more transparency in the chamber, in this space now, right now. He wants a bit more transparency because there have certainly been instances where all the information has been given in a briefing session. All of the questions being asked of the staff have all occurred in that. There have been really good answers. Everyone gets a good sense in their mind before they come to the meeting, before making a decision. And then when the decision time comes, there's a mover, there's a seconder, and then no discussion. Because we've all, in our own minds, have felt that, we haven't had a caucus. There's been no caucus decision prior to this, but there's no sense of of discussion amongst ourselves, or debate, or at least even an expression of our opinion in this chamber, which then goes out and is public. That's where I think the problem lies. There is that, in a way, a slight disjunct between the information and to and fro information that we get during briefings and what the rest of the community gets to see. So I think if we need to consider how we make that better. I mean, one of the things that I was thinking of doing would be that if we have a mover, particularly if it's something really significant, if it's something non-controversial, there's some of these are non-controversial, and they just go through on the nod, that's fine. But there are some that, like say for example our QBRs, there's a lot of really important information in the budget statements. And yet very often when we do have a discussion, when it is moved and it goes through, there isn't actually no discussion about it and just goes straight through. The community, all they see is that we're all going, well, yeah, it's all fine.
Yeah, you've got to remember too that there is a pretty comprehensive report there on most of these items, and the community sees that, and they've got to take into account that, and surely hope that the councillors have read it, to make that decision process. And if it is straightforward, as a lot of our decisions are, and it's from the information you read, make the decision. So I understand where you're coming from a bit, but there is a lot of work done by the staff to inform the councillors of the decision process, not just the workshops. The workshops are done where you get more detailed information on more complex matters. But all that information we've workshopped is in the report. So we're getting it heads up verbally, first up, but then the information is followed up in the reports, and most of the time it's exactly the same information. So you're reading the reports, which everybody is, you're making a decision based on that, and that's the message to the community. We're making decisions on the reports, and the community, and as we know, the committee meetings are to formalise the decision process.
So, Mr. Mayor, I just would also just highlight, which we just passed, the standing committee process is still, it's also, a lot of our work goes through the committee process, which has longer discussion for expedience, but that's still public information. So, and you're demonstrating right now, there's obviously mechanisms in our practice. If a councillor wants to discuss a matter, be it the quarterly budget review, even though you might be somewhat au fait with the report and comfortable, but there may be aspects that you do want to highlight. There is a mechanism providing it's in line with meeting practice. So, but I understand what you're saying, because we can't speak for the whole of the local government sector, I suppose, but that's why I just want to clarify that we're comfortable with the, let's call it the sentiment of the JO submission, which highlights that we have concerns with that aspect, but the other aspects we're relatively comfortable with the code of conduct issues and those other areas, but yeah, so that's just all. Sure. Because we don't have much time is the other aspect.
Councillor Nash.
Yeah, I don't think we need to be double guessing ourselves. Like, we're the elected members of our communities. We're giving the information. They see the information, but we just we're able to sit in a workshop and work through a lot of items that this is what we're there for. I feel don't second guess ourselves. This is what we're here for.
All right, any further discussion? All right, so we got that original and then added point 2 to the amendment, so that's now the motion. So I'll put that. All those in favour? Against? That's carried. Thank you, everybody. Item 15. Advisory committees of council. Could I have a mover and a second? Moved by Councillor Weaver, second by Councillor Batten. All right. All right. I think the best way to do this is to go to page 30. Correct me, anybody, if I don't think so. We'll work our way down through the list on page 30. Everybody right with it?
I think I asked for this to go into committee of the whole.
We are in committee of the whole.
Yeah, I understand. No, but I'm just asking you, do I get an opportunity to speak on this before we do all of that?
All right, so you want to speak on
Oh, really? Because I'm only really focusing on one thing.
it? Right.
Yeah, that's the only reason why I put it into.
Yep.
Otherwise, is that okay?
Yep.
Thanks, Mr. Mayor. Look, I've got no problem with all of the committees, and we'll work out who goes where, etc. The only thing I was going to ask about, and I've foreshadowed a potential amendment, and that is for item 3. I'm assuming that item 3 is just a new committee to replace the Economy, Tourism and Culture Advisory Committee. Is that correct? Can I ask through you, Mr. Mayor, why is there a change? I assume that the previous committee has not been active or hasn't been functioning in some way, so there's a gap that's arisen as a result of that. That's the first thing. And secondly, the terms of reference of the Community Stakeholder Advisory Committee sort of rather duplicates what we do. It's the makeup is effectively a member from each of the progress associations. We are already or about to be delegated to each of the progress associations as the conduit between. We are the representatives of the community, and that is a conduit between us and council. And so effectively, the council is that committee. We are already that committee. So I'm just not sure whether or not this committee is appropriate. I mean, whether we need it. We've got a lot of committees, and this one just seems to duplicate a function that already exists.
The General Manager going to respond to that?
Through you, Mr. Mayor. Basically, this is obviously it's a historical committee of the past that's being rebranded, for want of a better term, and also hopefully reinvigorated. We over a period of time, our community progress associations, when we first started more intensive community engagement that I'm aware of, they were somewhat isolated, and this meeting was to bring them together, like you said, in quite rightly what you say, in a way to what we talked about, to try and see the bigger picture as well, and hear each other about what their priorities are, what they want. You know, you have Cadell sitting there listening to Yeovil, listening to Molong, and they actually, the feedback was that was a very good process to have happen. It doesn't have to sit every 5 minutes, but to have that ability for those and to bring them together as a committee to discuss items of relevance to them as a whole, because, and as you point out, that is the job of the council, but not every town would feel they've got full same representation because the way the council's made up, it's not all from, not a council from wards or each town. So it's a circuit breaker to enable that still the community peak bodies get together and talk to council about, and council will give them information as well. So that's the genesis of the original idea. That's why we're trying to reinvigorate it, for some of those, let's call it matters that we, rather than go to 7, 8 different groups individually, there's some matters that it's good to go as a group. So council's considered, so it's a sounding board, it's a community engagement tool. So council can be informed. As I said, it's not a decision-making tool for council, but it is a good way of having a sounding board and also a feedback process. And it's quite interesting to see, just I can say myself, the dynamic changes with representatives when they've had to sit down around other same sort of been given the same job of their communities and their progress group, to then listen to each other and realize, hang on, yeah, well, everyone wants this. So it is quite good for council, but it's not something that we have to have regularly. But that's the purpose of trying to reinvigorate it. But if council chooses not to want to go with this committee and let it fade, that's a matter for council. That's the intent.
Sorry, I would imagine that particularly for some of the smaller towns, there's almost a Venn diagram with their interests. Like you look at Kewdale, it's Canandra, Molong and Manildra, that to actually to see them all working together, hopefully, and also being aware of what other plans are, like the Balloon Festival. I mean, that can impact other towns too, some of the bigger stuff. I just think that it's probably good that they communicate on a face-to-face level amongst themselves.
Yeah, you're right, and I think that's a good comment you've made there. It's about sharing ideas and information that they may not have thought of in their individual association and group, and it's a bit like when we go to a conference and network with other councillors and you get the same ideas, I guess, under that sort of guidance, yeah. Councillors go.
No, you go.
I thought I'd turned it on, switched it off, sorry. I'll echo everything the General Manager has said, but just add to that in saying that when we come on council 3 terms ago now, one of our roles was to bring Cabonne together. There were still some silos within Cabonne. Our community strategic plan finishes off, or the statement at the end finishes off, that we are one Cabonne, and this is just another way of doing that, in addition to sharing information and being able to work together in terms of not having clashing events or clashing things. And, you know, Manildra might have a group come to them and say, we want to go out there for whatever day, and Manildra might say, well, we can't do it this day, but I know Cumnock might like to host you, and those sorts of things. But it's certainly about creating that one Cabonne.
Yes, I definitely agree with that, and I just think there's nothing like everybody getting together, and I just hope it works. I hope we can get them there. I know years ago they used to do it, and I know that Glenda Gibson really found it very good, and you know, they all become friends then and help each other. I think it's a great idea.
Mr Mayor, I'd also speak in favour of the motion as it stands. I had the opportunity to participate in some of these meetings with the other executive and different progress associations. They're actually organised by the lead of community economy and the coordinator work with it in that team. And some of the things were expressed there are around things about how we work together as a group for the betterment of Cabonne. It wasn't about individual things. So what I saw were opportunities. Yes, I understand where Councillor Rawson's coming from. We are the conduit on a regular basis, monthly basis. But this gives the people from the different progress associations or peak community groups the opportunity to discuss the things of how they can work together. And some of the things that are around, even as things like, okay, recognising that, for example, the community assistance programs only got a limited amount of money. It was about talking about each other's priorities and what they wanted to do, what they would submit for, so they weren't duplicating indicating they weren't competing on, against each other. They're actually there supporting each other. So I can see a lot of merit in this group actually meeting, and I think it'll actually add value to what we do. Probably even take a bit of a workload off us.
Councillor Weaver.
Mr Mayor, this would be similar to the setup that we had years ago with CTAC. So I can see it working, but it's really hard to keep individual towns' interest going. And I just wonder how you're going to do that. We worked so hard with CTAC and it still fell apart. I would love to see something like this work, but I don't know how you pull it all together and keep them vibrant and interested.
That's the challenge, I guess. And I think that's going to be a job for all of us and help out the staff to do that. Councillor Rawson.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. Look, I concur with Councillor Weaver in this. That's part of the reason why I'm asking the question is this, it hasn't recently been working by the sounds of it, and the question should be asked why, and it's possible that, yes, it's hard enough to get people to come along to progress associations, let alone then come along to another committee of council, when their expectation is that that's our job. That's what councillors do. You know, if you want to speak to council about anything particularly important strategically, in particular, come to a councillor. Yeah, so where I am concerned here is that there will be some confusion within the community about who do they go and speak to. Do they go and speak to this person who is nominated onto an advisory committee? Because it is we're here talking about setting up an advisory committee. It's not just a get-together over a cup of coffee. It's actually an advisory committee. And if that's the case, who do the community go to? To the person on that committee or to their councillor, which is actually our role. So that's what I'm concerned about.
Yeah.
Through you, Mr Mayor. Just to clarify, so the Economy, Culture and Tourism Committee, which is the committee that would be replaced with this new committee, the terms of reference of that committee was really quite strictly around individuals that had an interest in business and growing the local economy, not necessarily representing community. So the idea with this committee is that this takes a more holistic approach, given the dispersed nature of our LGA, to bring community groups together in line with the vision of our community strategic plan, and really focusing on opportunities to grow Cabonne in that economic visitor economy space as a whole, rather than from a bespoke business perspective. And unfortunately, I think that was why the previous committee was not successful, because it was very much about individual business representatives.
Exactly right. Yeah, so I remember they did ask the Mardia lady to, not the Mardia, the lady at the Picture Theatre, Joan, to come and didn't actually ask the Progress Association. So, you know, having the Progress Associations involved, I think will be great.
I just wonder if we've had those committee meetings and it would appear they're more heavily attended by the smaller communities, and like Canowindra and Molong a little bit not as enthused. But they're the communities that will benefit most from this sort of thing too, the smaller ones will. Yeah.
Councillor Paul.
Good discussion. I'd like to give it a go. Can I have the motion be put?
All right. Procedural motion, the motion be put. I can do that, but we've still got to delegate committees. So what I'll do is can't move that it be put yet, actually, but what we can do is move the discussion forward to delegate the committees. Because you've asked for a procedural motion to move on the discussion.
Can we move the motion forward, or can we move the process forward to putting people on the committees, Mr Mayor?
Yeah, all right, well, I'll put that we move to putting people on committees. So all those in favour? Against? That's carried. So, we now have to put people on committees first. So, Age of Fishes Museum. Yeah, nominate.
Can I nominate Jenny Weaver?
Councillor Weaver's nominated. You look. All right. Nominated. Alternative.
Nominate Councillor O'Ryan.
All right. So Councillor Weaver is nominated, and alternate Councillor O'Ryan. We'll move on to the next one. Cabon Pools.
I'd like to nominate, my brain just went, Councillor Poole. Be on the pools.
Councillor Poole on the Pools Committee. Happy with that?
Yes, because I was the alternate and went a lot last year, but also I don't want to push Marlene out. If she'd like to be on it, I'd be the alternate or the main delegate.
No, I'm fine to be the alternate, thank you. You can, yeah.
So that's the way that we'll go that. Cabon Floodplain Management. Councillor Rawson.
Can I nominate myself for that one, please?
And a second alternate. Councillor Weaver. Yagara Recovery.
Councillor Jones.
Alternate. Councillor Weaver, thanks. Roads. Councillor Rawson,
I nominate myself again, just.
alternate. Alternate Councillor Pearson, yeah, everybody happy with that? And Local Traffic Committee.
Thanks.
I was
Nominate
gonna-
myself.
I was going to nominate Councillor Nash.
Councillor Nash and alternate.
Councillor Batten.
Local Traffic. Done? All right, so that's appointed the members. Now, just go back, there was no amendment, you said discussion there, didn't you? There was just discussion.
Well, I think based on the discussion, there probably won't be an amendment.
Right.
But I think we probably need to consider the terms of reference a bit. Yeah, based on what Rebecca was saying. Yeah, I guess we're.
Well, I'll just finish with the fact that, okay, it didn't work before. Rebecca's keen to get it started and revamped it and changing things. I think we need to support the fact that she wants to try that.
I think that's a fine response. Yeah.
And we can try, and obviously if it doesn't work, we know it doesn't work. So
Yeah.
we've had a go.
Yes. Well, good luck. Good luck with it. But just be aware though of the difference between that committee and us. Effectively, there is there's going to be an element of duplication there, particularly
Sure,
as
you'll have plenty of work.
all of us are.
I'm sure you'll get plenty of work.
Yeah, all of us are going to be delegates to progress associations, and that's the progress association delegates that are the primary component of that committee. So there's a sort of a duplication in transfer of information, that's all.
All right, we've had a procedural motion, we continue, so I've got to continue. So I'll put the motion, all those in favour? Against, that's carried. Item 18. So item 18 is delegates to community peak organisation for the term of council. Could I have a mover and a seconder, please?
Oh.
Moved by Councillor O'Ryan, seconded by Councillor Poole. So we just go down the list. It's in the report, and we've just got to add Manildra in there when we get into Manildra.
Sorry, and change it to Canowindra Chamber of Commerce too, please. Progress, Progress Association.
All
My
right,
brain's
so
fried.
we need a representative and an alternate. We can do that later.
That would be according to the terms of reference, it has to be somebody from that panel A group, so that could be decided in the next committee meeting and then come to this council.
See? That's why I didn't do it.
That's exactly why I did that.
He's been on holidays, he's just... Can be done at the first standing committee. All right, we'll just start from the top. So Borenor representative, Councillor Rawson, you wish to be?
I wish to nominate myself, yes.
Yep. And we need an alternate for Borenor. Councillor Poole? We've got you.
Yeah, I'm okay. Any of the ones where we might be a bit difficult with driving and stuff, I'm happy to take as an alternate or fill the gaps.
Fill out, mate. All right, so that's done. So we've got Councillor Rawson and Councillor Poole back up. Canowindra Progress Association, not Business Chamber. So who would like to nominate for that? Councillor Weaver as representative and alternate. Back up. So officially, Councillor Weaver, alternate Councillor Ryan, and obviously Councillor Poole's back up. Cargo Progress Association, Councillor Nash. All right, so cargo is Councillor Nash and Councillor Ryan. Yes. No. Councillor Jones, righto. Kidal. Councillor Jones is representative and Councillor Orion. Correct. Cumnock, Councillor Batten. Yeah. Ugara. Councillor Jones and Councillor Weaver. Yep. Molong. Councillor Jones, Councillor Pearson. We'll go Manildra. This Councillor Nash. It got left off, so we just added it on. Councillor Nash and then Councillor Rawson as alternate. Mullion Creek. Councillor Rawson. And backup. Councillor Pearson. Nashdale. Councillor Rawson. Alternate is Councillor Poole. And Yeovil is Councillor Batten. And Councillor Nash, was it? Yep. Done. All right. I'll put that. All those in favour? Against? It's carried. All right. Item 19 is delegates to other organisations for the term of council. So, we'll just work our way down through these ones. So we've got Arts Out West, one councillor. Councillor O'Ryan. To Merck. Councillor Batten. With an alternate. You do it. So we've got councillor Batten, alternates councillor Rawson. Colon's Orange Road Safety Committee. One councillor with an alternate. As the delegate, as the representative? Yep. Backup? Right, councillor Pearson, and then councillor Jones is the backup. Canovus Bushfire Management Committee. Yep, stay that way. Happy, Pete? All right. Well, number 5, Canovus Zone Liaison Committee. Councillor Batten, and we need an alternate. Councillor Arona, beautiful. The Central West Libraries. Councillor Poole, and backup Councillor Nash.
No, do you want to, no, you can, I'll step out of line.
Councillor Orion is the alternate to Councillor Poole, who's a representative. Community Safety Precinct is myself. It's Councillor Pearson. Well, it's not listed, but they sort of dropped off, but I think Jen was my sort of pseudo alternate last year.
Have Lincoln
Yeah.
at this.
Anyway, we'll just. Yeah, we'll just play that way. Yeah, I mean, I can just. That's right. Orange 360 is myself, and I need a backup. Yep. Deputy Mayor and OFA Reserve Trust. You don't have a backup for that, do you? One councillor, that's it. Yep. Yep. Righto. All right, that's it. Done. So I'll put that, all those in favour? Against, that's carried. All right, we now move into the closed section of the meeting.